you know, I come from a really like a deprived area. It was a really deprived, like comprehensive school. You know, quite difficult, really underfunded, all that sort of stuff. So I thought, you know, we're quite a working class. I need a job. I need something that I can rely on. You know, my family. I was the first person to go to university in our
Me
family.
too. Yeah.
So yeah, it was just like it felt great at the time. There was a dialysis unit that I used to drive past when we used to go to our like local shopping centre. And I thought, oh, I'm gonna have a look at them and apply. I don't know what dialysis is, but I'm newly qualified, so I'll just apply. Went for the interview, walked into the clinic and was like, oh my God, like I'd never seen a dialysis machine before. I was really like took back and I thought, okay, this is going to be interesting, but I needed something different. So, yeah, so I joined there. I accepted the job straight away. We worked 6:30 till 11:30 were the opening times. So we did a mixture of like earlys, lates, and long days. Sometimes I used to like if I worked a Saturday evening, I would like take my stuff with me to work and get ready in the changing room and then go straight out. And we didn't work Sundays. So as like a young nurse, it was perfect. Like I loved it. I have never gone away from a shift and not been able to sleep because have I done this? Did I fix that? Did I, you know, whereas in the hospitals, I always felt like, did I complete this? Did I do that charting? Did I do, you know, I was really, it was just too much for me to, it's just the way that I am, I like to like separate things out and have a routine.
There's structure and routine
and there's a lot of structure and routine in renal.
Yeah.
Which is great for somebody who wants that kind of support around them. We had an interim manager at the time, and she'd said, like, she pulled me aside one day and said, are you a senior nurse? And I said, no, I've qualified like a couple of years ago. And then she just pulled me aside and said, are you a senior nurse? And I said, no, not yet. And she was like, do you want to be a senior nurse? And I said, well, yeah, but I've got to do a bit more training. There's other people who are not senior nurses that have been here way longer than me, because I was still in that mindset of like the NHS where people get senior roles because of the amount of years experience they've got and things like that. And she was really like, that doesn't matter. You've got like the skills to be able to be a senior. So an opportunity came up where there was some senior staffing shortages in a clinic in Nottingham. So they approached me and asked, we've got this opportunity. It'd be a secondment. You'd do half your hours in the clinic that you're in today, like at the moment, and half your hours in Nottingham. We'll support you with travelling. I said, okay, like that sounds like an opportunity. They said you could do that for 6 months while you do your renal course. So I thought, yeah, it's a lot of driving, but let's try it. Let's see how it goes. And I think that was the time where my eyes really opened up to the opportunities. They paid for my university course. The university course was an online module via Sheffield University. So we went into Sheffield University for 2 days to do like an induction. I just arranged my study hours around work. So just spoke with my manager at the time and said, like, these are the days that I need to log in online, like do things like this, like Teams and things. These are the days I need, or the hours that I need. And what I tended to do was come into clinic and use one of the consulting rooms and do it in clinic. So I did the studying time was in my own time. So it was just bringing experience really, and supporting people in things like sending emails to consultants and that sort of thing. So I was always quite good at communicating like that. So it was supporting people with like that kind of communication. Applied for a full-time role as a senior staff nurse and was successful. And actually that was really a real great experience, because instead of 2Ping staff across, this was a brand new clinic, a complete clear slate. So that was a great experience. We opened up and we managed, you know, training and supporting the new staff and getting new patients in. Our deputy manager left and I applied for the deputy manager post and was successful. So I got the deputy manager post there. And then I got pregnant. So that's where everything gets a bit like crazy. So I got pregnant. I was unbelievably unwell, admitted to hospital and for sickness, and it was a real struggle. But still was really well supported. So at this point, I was really questioning, do I want to be in the future? Do I want to go down a clinical route, or do I want to be a manager?
Manager, yeah.
Yeah. And this role came up for clinic development manager in Aston, which was Birmingham, which was closer to where I live. And I thought, and the clinic manager I was working with at the time said, I think you should go for it. You should try it. It's a secondment. We'll see how you go. I kind of, at this point, I don't think it was work that did it to me. I think it was just, I was questioning, do I need a change? I don't think the management was for me. I think I should have been on the clinical side of things. I think management was, I was thinking to myself, okay, so if I get a clinic manager job now, is that what I'm going to do for the rest of my years?
Yeah.
Do I really want to do that? You know, I was 20, like just turning 30, and I thought, I don't think I want to be a clinic manager. So it took me that experience really to be able to make my mind up. So at the clinic manager's event, even though I was really anxious about going, I sat with the clinical team, so the practice development nurses, and I had quite a good relationship with Dawn, our nursing director at the time, and because she'd supported me throughout my career in Diaverum. So the one thing I can say about Diaverum is it doesn't matter what job role you are, you can pick up the phone or email a director. No problem. You wouldn't feel any way about picking up the phone and like ringing the director of nursing and saying, I can't get in touch with anybody. That was kind of, it wasn't a job opportunity, it was a promotion. So that's the first time I'd actually gone, I'd had like a promotion rather than gone for an opportunity.
Right, okay.
And then that's where I am now. I just pitched it to Dawn and said, Dawn, you know, I had really rubbish placements, and it was really only by chance that I ended up in a job in renal. I was really lucky to have ended up getting that interview. I would never have known that I was going to be a renal nurse if I hadn't just randomly applied. I said, why are we not giving student nurses the opportunity on placement to come into these areas so that they can see if they like it and then they'll apply? Like, I just didn't understand why we didn't do it. So I pitched it to her and she said, you know, Dawn's a fantastic manager. She's not a micromanager and she really supports things that you're passionate about. And if you can make it work for the business, she'll support you in doing it. So that was where it all started, really. So today, for example, I've It's Easter holidays, so I've dropped the kids off at my mum's in their pajamas. Sort that out. Then I've come to Great Bridge, which is one of my local clinics, because I travelled to our clinic in the Forest of Dean on Wednesday. So I try and do a long travel once a week, and then I'll do shorter travel. I'll try and work locally the other couple of days. So I do 1/2 a day from home, 2 days local clinics, and then 1 day of a travel. It's super flexible, so I completely arrange my own calendar around what needs to be done.
A lot of trust there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll just say through my calendar what I've got, what days I need to be in, kind of arrange my childcare around that. It's a little bit more difficult in the holidays because with my 30 hours, the reason I haven't gone up to full time is because in 30 hours, if I needed to work 5 shorter days in that week, I could. So I could just work while the kids are at school. If I started increasing, I'd have to be thinking about childcare every day and pick up some drop-offs. For me, what's really important is that I'm around to put my kids to bed each night, and that I drop them off at school in the morning. That's really important to me in these young years. You know, we don't live to work, we work to live. And as passionate as I am about my job, like, family will always come first, and that is something in our clinical team that we really push. We really support each other in that way. We will always say to each other, you know, family comes first, we'll support each other like that. I think what I try and say to a lot of the students is, they say, oh, it's specialising too early. There's this real push in the NHS and in when you do your placements in the NHS that you need to be a general nurse, you know, for a few years before you specialise in something, and it's rubbish. For me, I just think, like, your journey is your journey. It's not anybody else's journey. I couldn't do a drug round on a ward. Why do I need to? I've got, you know, I know that a ward nurse wouldn't be able to set up a dialysis machine. So, you know, we all go into different things within nursing. A nurse is not just a nurse who is, you know, can do everything. We're not a jack of all trades. We're like highly specialised, trained people. And I think if you want real satisfaction from your role, there's no harm in specialising early. The other thing I would say is, to myself or anybody who is starting out and they're young, just try a bit of everything. Don't be scared to try a role, and if it doesn't work for you, try something else until you find something that you're really passionate about, that you really enjoy. Renals really love hate. Some people come and they start and the apps can't hack it, don't like it, it's very chronic, got the same patients all the time, they don't like it at all. But other people it really suits. So if you can get, I would say to students, if you can get a placement in renal or you can request a placement in renal, go for it, because you might love it.